You're sitting right next to them, but it feels you're like miles apart. You remember when being together meant laughing at anything. Now it just means being in the same room. You want to reach out, but you hold back. You want to talk, but you fear the same old fight. So you pretend you're fine and smile through the ache. You keep asking yourself, why does this feel so lonely when I'm not even alone? But here's the hard truth. Sometimes the distance isn't caused by them. It's easy to spot what they've done wrong, how they've changed, how they've pulled away. But have you stopped to check your own patterns? Here are 7 signs you are the problem, and you're the one destroying your relationship. 1. You expect them to just know what you need without saying it. You're washing the dishes in silence, waiting for them to notice how tired you are. You sigh louder. You slam a plate just enough for them to hear. But they stay on the couch scrolling. You tell yourself, if they loved me, they'd get it. But love isn't mind reading. They can't support a need you never voiced. 2. You brush off their emotions as too sensitive. They open up about how something you said hurt them. You roll your eyes and reply, "You're overreacting again." They go quiet. They always do when they feel dismissed. You call it honesty, but to them, it's just being unheard. And little by little, they learn it's not safe to feel around you. 3. You bring up old mistakes to win current arguments. They forgot something small, and suddenly, you're talking about that one thing they did last year. The tone changes. Their face falls. The argument spirals into everything it wasn't about. You didn't do it to hurt them. But deep down, you just didn't want to lose the upper hand. 4. You say, "I'm sorry," but never without defending yourself. You finally say the words, "I'm sorry." But then comes the follow-up. "But you made me feel like I had to." The apology becomes a shield, not a bridge. They were hoping for healing, but all they heard was that their pain still had no place. 5. You give them the silent treatment instead of expressing how you feel. You're angry, but instead of saying anything, you shut down. You ignore the texts. You walk past them without a word. You want them to feel what you feel, rejected, invisible. It's not that you don't care. You just never learned how to stay in hard conversations without disappearing. 6. You need to be right more than you need to be close. The argument started small, but suddenly, it's about proving you never mess up. You throw facts, tone, anything that helps you win. And when it's over, you feel victorious, but also weirdly empty. Because deep down you realize, being right cost you intimacy. 7. You focus more on what they're doing wrong than what you appreciate. You point out how they didn't clean up, how they forgot to call, how their tone is off. You think you're just holding them accountable. But when was the last time you said, "Thank you," without a reminder? Or complimented them without them asking for reassurance? If any of these moments felt uncomfortably familiar, that's not a reason to feel ashamed. It's a reason to grow. Relationships aren't about keeping score or always being right. They're about 2 people willing to reflect, communicate, and take accountability. The truth is, sometimes we're the ones who unintentionally cause distance, even when we think we're trying. But the good news? Awareness is the first step to change. Real love begins when you stop pointing fingers and start looking inward. So check yourself, not to punish, but to understand. And if this spoke to you, consider subscribing for more insights that help love grow.